Luxury watches are usually purchased for their style, their functionality, or even as a status symbol. But luxury watches can and do also make for great investments if you buy wisely, because potentially you can sell it one day in the future for more than you paid for it and therefore make money. But what is it that makes a watch appreciate in value? Why do some watches go up in price and some watches don't? In this video, I'd like to share my thoughts. Let's get into it. I'm Marcelo from Prestige Watches, and I love talking about the business and psychology around watches. Why do people love watches? Why do we buy them, and why do we sell them? Now, as we all know, not all watches are made equal. Far from it, in fact. And this is something you will have learned as a watch enthusiast. And there are lots and lots of variables that need to be taken into account when looking at a watch that will hopefully allow you to make money when it's time to sell it. I'll be putting up 2 new videos soon about why to invest in watches and how to invest in watches, so please keep an eye out for those. But in the meantime, I'd like to share the 7 things that I can think of that affect the resale value of a watch. And before you start watching, let me know in the comments right now what in your opinion is the biggest single thing that makes a watch increase in price. Do that now. So, in no particular order. First, the market. Good old supply and demand. Like stock prices and gold and now cryptocurrencies, the value of a commodity depends on its scarcity, availability, desirability, and interest from potential buyers. When you own a luxury watch, your ability to sell it ultimately comes down to its market demand, whether someone would be willing to buy it and how much they'd be prepared to pay for it. Some watches become collector items and their buyers thrive in a niche market, and depending on tiny details of a model, it could be worth more or less than similar looking watches. The more interest and therefore demand for a watch on the market, the more desirable a watch becomes. The more desirable it is, the more likely it will sell. The quicker it sells because of its desirability, the harder it will be to get new from an authorised dealer. Then availability shifts to the secondary market, and this again pushes prices up. Then years later, when a watch model gets discontinued, making it become even more rare and sought after, it will push prices up even further. This is often the result that has been kick-started by clever business activity from the brand with their marketing and advertising strategy around the watch when it launched. And the watch would have to be a decent watch or it wouldn't achieve the desirability in the first place. Demand creates a fan base, it gets people talking, it can make a watch iconic, and this creates the perfect storm for watch price appreciation. Secondly, the watch brand will help make a watch appreciate in value. But some brands command a higher ticket price than others, and that's the power of the brand. British company Superbrand says this about a brand. A superbrand offers consumers significant emotional and/or physical advantages over its competitors, which, consciously or subconsciously, consumers want, recognise and are willing to pay a premium for. Now, the brand or the watchmaker matters when it comes to increasing resale value, and there will be a link to quality watchmaking here. We all know the big ones: Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, but there are many other incredible luxury watch brands that make watches that will increase in price if you buy wisely. Just get in touch with me if you'd like to learn more about this. Third is the impact that low production numbers has on creating scarcity and therefore increasing the price. If the production numbers are low or limited numbers, limited edition, or made for a short period of time before evolving into a newer, updated model, perhaps it's become discontinued, or it has rare or special qualities, perhaps a certain movement or a collaboration or unique printed dial, it can set certain watches apart from others. And here the devil is absolutely in the details. Small details of minor changes can greatly increase the value of a watch, making it worth significantly more than the original model design simply because it's unique. Tiny but really important details such as this would greatly increase the value of a watch, but could easily be overlooked by less experienced collectors. Fourth on the list is it's just a popular model. Popularity. Popularity creates wait lists and therefore supply shortages and therefore demand and scarcity. So what makes a watch popular? Normally it's the coming together of 2 forces. Number 1, the physical attributes of the watch, which is jointly outstanding design, it has to look cool, coupled with superb performance. It has to be a decently made watch with some great credentials. And number 2 is a cool story and other intangible forces around the watch. The story that the brand tells, perhaps the provenance, which is different to the story. It's more to do with previous owners. Maybe they were or are someone of significance or importance or fame. Perhaps the watch itself has certain claims to fame, making it popular. Maybe it was the first or the biggest or the smallest or the thinnest, the best, the deepest, the highest, the fastest, the most accurate, or the one and only. Maybe it was worn by. Even accreditations, sponsorships of events or affiliations or partnerships to other popular brands, maybe not even watch brands, maybe celebrities or stores or icons. We all love bragging rights, even watch brands, and they know that their storytelling and sharing of details will help make their watches more popular. And of course, let's not forget trends. What's current right now, what's in, what's hot, what's not. Certain luxury sport watches have been a great choice for a really long time, and it's worth mentioning that mechanical watches tend to do better than quartz watches. But there was a time when it was gold watches, and before that maybe big watches or watches from independent watchmakers. Times change, interests change, popularity changes, the market changes. Ultimately, popularity equates to high demand, and high demand for a certain watch model is likely to increase the resale value of a particular watch if the supply is low. Number 5 is an obvious one, but not to be forgotten, and that is the physical attributes and the properties of the watch. The price of the metal and the sum of the parts of the watch. Of course, we know that a gold watch will cost more than a stainless steel one, in most instances, but not all. And a platinum one will probably cost more than a gold one, but there are variables here, so do be careful. For example, a 41mm all gold watch from Rolex will cost more than a 41mm all gold watch from Omega. And a 40mm gold watch from Longines may have a lower price tag than a stainless steel 40mm Rolex. So when you couple materials and super brands, we have an X factor price increase combination. And let's not forget the labour and the finishing. The finest high-end luxury watchmakers on earth tend to hand make and hand finish their watches. All the parts of the movement are highly decorated, and this makes them look incredible. And it takes a lot of time from highly skilled craftsmen to achieve this result. So while at a quick glance a movement of an Omega may look similar to that of a Patek or a Breguet or a Lange, but the devil is in the detail. Really, they're worlds apart. And it's this detail that will push the price of a watch up. Collectors love hand finishing, and that's why Bentley and Rolls-Royce cars cost so much, because of the hand craftsmanship and the hand finishing and that hand assembly. And it's the same for timepieces. Now don't get me wrong, Omega makes awesome watches, they look great, and I'm a huge fan of Omega, but handmade they are not. Number 6, another important factor that influences the resale value of a watch is its condition. If a watch is heavily marked, scuffed, scratched or damaged, these imperfections can negatively impact the overall value. And conversely, an in-demand watch that is in excellent condition will have a higher resale value. And this is true of any luxury second-hand item. The better the condition, the better the resale value. And with watches, there's a few other little X-factor add-ons that I will tell you about. Does the watch have any of its original stickers? Is the box original to the watch, and is it also in excellent condition? Same as the corresponding papers for the watch. Has the watch ever been polished? Polishing removes metal and can slightly alter the original shape of the watch if done sloppily, so collectors tend to prefer unpolished watches. And finally, last but not least, time. Time is an important factor when it comes to the resale value of a luxury watch. Just like purchasing a car, the moment a watch is purchased, with some exceptions, a watch is likely to decrease in value. However, over time and depending on a variety of other circumstances that we just spoke about, the value of your watch could increase just by sitting back, relaxing, and let Mother Time do her thing. So in summary, as with many investments, the value of a commodity, in this case a luxury watch, is largely dependent on its supply and demand. The more popular the brand, the higher its demand. The lower the production numbers, the rarer the model, and the smaller the supply, the higher the demand. Popular models appreciate in price better than lesser known watch models. If the watch is made of precious metals and has a longer labour of love in its manufacture, it's likely to have a higher price over a machine-made watch. The better the condition, the higher its value, and as with many other luxury branded items, it all takes time. Though these are general guidelines for what gives luxury watches X factor and makes them increase in value over time, it certainly doesn't mean that all luxury watches will increase in value. And needless to say, there's no exact formula for predicting the future value of a luxury watch. Much of it is speculation. If you ever do decide to buy a luxury watch and you're hoping one day that you could sell it for more than you bought it for, please get in touch, let's chat. And tell me, what do you think? Did I miss anything out? Can you think of any other things that make a watch go up in price? Please let me know in the comments. Please head over to my website and see what watches I've got for sale. There's a few new ones on there. And I must say, bit of housekeeping, this video isn't intended to encourage any lifestyle changes without careful consideration, and it's for informational purposes only. It's not intended as investment, financial or legal advice, and I must advise always consult with a financial professional or a professional in the industry before making any major financial decisions. Cheers, and see you on the next one.